Welcome to everyone who's joining us from home this morning. We begin, as we always do, with apologies for absence. We have Councillor Riddle and Councillor Posai. The minutes of the meetings that took place on the 23rd of April and the 8th of May are in our agenda pack. If you are all happy that I sign these as a true record, then I'll do that at the end of the meeting.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Everyone happy? Yep, good. Thank you very much. Our first item today is the North East Combined Authority borrowing powers. This is a formality that comes along with us being part of the new Combined Authority to ensure that we consent to the making of the regulations formally and the authorisation of the Chief Executive in consultation with myself to issue the Council's formal consent to the Secretary of State when required. Simple as that. Everybody happy? Proposed by Councillor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Stewart. All in favour? It's lovely. Thank you. So now we come to an incredibly important piece of work that I'm so grateful to our staff for delivering. This is our new Climate Change Action Plan. I think it's worth reflecting on where we as a council have come in terms of the importance that we place upon addressing climate change. I can remember it was out there on a very sunny day that we met up with some climate change activists at the time when councils were being asked to, or in fact were being petitioned by climate change groups to declare a climate change emergency. And we said, no, we're not going to wait to be petitioned. We are voluntarily going to go and do this now. Not just that, but we will set in motion money and commitment to delivering an action plan that will help us on our way to doing all we can as a council to deliver the climate change work that we need to. And I'm incredibly grateful for all the work that went into that. This revised action plan takes forward that work, but what it doesn't do is cajole or force or bully people into doing things. It simply states in a very committed way how everyone can do their own part of alleviating climate change effect. Without forcing anyone to do anything. So, for example, we will continue to go around meetings and schools and other places to explain what each of us can do, whether it's turning down the temperature on a washing machine or turning off the light. Little things like that will make a big difference if we all follow that. Until electric cars and hybrid cars become affordable for everyone and in some cases reliable, then we will not see the really big change that is planned for the longer term. But in the meantime, we are increasing the amount of electric car charging points throughout the county. We have delivered outside our solar carport, which is an incredible achievement given the fact that most of the electricity used in this building will be powered by solar power. We have taken a very major financial step by tackling a decades-old problem at Linemouth Beach, where because of tipping of waste materials has been exposed by the tides, we could have either said, well, it's too bad, we'll just pick up the litter as we go along and one day it'll all be sorted out, or we have said, we will actually deal with this problem once and for all. So we've allocated £5 million to clean up that beach at Linemouth, which will be in the interest of not just the local people, but for the county as a whole. We have also merged our commitment on climate change to our commitment on our environment. And that means that we will continue to invest in, for example, improving our parks and green spaces and ensuring that the county is a place that people will feel truly proud to visit or in which to live. So there are a number of key points and recommendations within this report, and it is a very, very long and very substantial report running to 160, 170 pages. And it's a fine piece of work, and I'm very grateful to the officers who have led on this, and also to the commitment of our administration, which has continued to make climate change, along with improving and protecting our environment, a key driver for all the things that we do in Northumberland. So the recommendations are there. It talks about how all executive directors and cabinet members, for example, will be offered up-to-date training on carbon literacy. It talks about the £50,000 a year that we have allocated to spend on environment and climate initiatives locally by individuals or parish or town councils. Our free tree offer initiative is working terribly well, and it is our aim to give away a total of 150,000 trees by the time of this report comes to an end. This action plan comes to an end, and that is a very significant promise that we will do that, and we're glad it's working so well. And we will continue, obviously, to deliver energy installation and advice on renewable and investments that might work for either private homes or businesses. So there we are. A very full and very spectacular climate change action plan from 2024 to 26. And I am very proud to propose this, seconded, I think, by Councillor Wearmouth. Are there any questions on this, please? Guy Moreno-Thompson.
No questions as such, Leader. I just want to welcome the report, and it's impacted the residents in my division up in Sea Houses in Bamborough and Beadnell, because we're not on the gas grid like many of the Northumberland is. The gas main runs parallel to the A1, and if you're not immediately adjacent to it, you're not on there. So people with older houses, a lot of the houses are stone built, you can now get grants to insulate and install air source heat pumps and whatnot, which isn't just good for the environment, it's good for people's back pockets because it saves them money on their energy costs. And this has all been funded by the government. I think we just need to be, and that's part of this, better at getting out there and telling people the benefits that they're entitled to with regards to this. Also, the free tree planting scheme has gone down really well. People can say they've got one thing from the council, it's the tree, and they're gone.
Excellent. And of course, it's worth bearing in mind that we have the Great Northumberland Forest in the county, which is a spectacular scheme as well, which I think is one of the very few of the size and scale and financial backing anywhere in the country. So people can actually, we're not talking about a great big huge conifer forest that's 3 times the size of Kielder. We're talking about bits and pieces of community orchards or small amounts of a little coppice of beech trees, for example, that all will build up to become the Great Northumberland Forest. And I'm very grateful as well to the staff that are very active in that area and the parish and town councils who are getting involved. Yes, Councillor Stewart.
Yeah, I totally agree. A couple of words. This one's sensible and ambitious, and that's where I look at this plan. Tackling climate change in our county, which has a growing population. We're investing in modern factories and businesses and modern homes. And you mentioned, Leader, the Northumberland line, major investment which will be reducing carbon there. In our communities up and down the county, we're seeing community groups and individuals taking this in a sensible way as well. Yesterday, myself and Councillor Horncastle visited Ashington, met the town council, who are working in partnership with Northumberland County Council, looking to deal with fly tipping, and working with community groups as well. So they're passionate about getting their town a lot cleaner, a lot brighter, a lot greener. And because Councillor Moreno-Thompson mentioned his ward, I will mention Prudder. There's green projects there, and next time you visit, Leader, I'll be delighted to show you the town centre, how we've got lots of modern flower beds and displays there, and we've also got an orchard just along the front street. It's never happened before. And Eastwoods Park, which you visit on a couple of occasions, which have been neglected for 20, 30 years, is now the jewel in the crown. And we've got various environmental projects now in place and into the future. It's council-owned, but working with the community for there. So increasing number of EV points strategically placed, which help tourism and businesses. There's lots happening in this county, but it is a very sensible and ambitious project.
Yes, very wise words. Thank you very much indeed for that. Councillor Horncastle. Sorry, I thought you had your hand up. Sorry. No, sorry. Richard Wearmouth.
Thank you, Leader. It's a great report. I really enjoyed reading it, albeit it's very lengthy. But it's lengthy for a reason, and it's because the council here in Northumberland is doing an awful lot to drive forward this agenda in a really positive and sensible way. And we see lots of councils who across the country who perhaps aren't very sensible in their approach, who reach for fads, for gimmicks, and so on in this space. And that's not something that we've done. We've got really well-developed schemes that we've worked closely with groups across our communities to develop and bring forward. So a big well done to the officers and to yourself as someone who's championed and led this over a considerable period of time. Just want to draw out a few bits of some really substantial sections in the report. You mentioned, Councillor Stewart, transport. There's a very large amount of work that's gone on transport. The Northumberland line is an exemplar of reopening railway lines through the reverse beaching programme, something that we are really grateful to our Conservative government that they have brought that forward alongside ourselves. It hasn't been easy, but we are the pioneers in bringing back life to our railways in this country. It's been a brilliant project, and I can't wait to see it open later on this year. There's also been a lot of work that's gone on to make sure that people can access bus services, which is an interesting one as we move forward into a new combined authority where we see the sort of threat of nationalisation of the buses. What that will do for our services, I don't know, but we will fiercely defend them as we go on into the future. Rural bus services are a massive part of rural life, and I've been reminded of that as we go up and down the county in the current election campaigning that's going on, of course, as a result of the general election. There's a massive amount that's going on in education, and so all of the programmes that we have going on, whether it's the £45–50 million rebuild of Ashington College, whether it's the STEM facility in Blythe that will link children, kids coming out of the schools in Blythe, Ashington, indeed across Northumberland, with opportunity to work in green jobs. That has been a fantastic part of this work, and it will continue to provide the launch pad for so many people going into green jobs and green industries and green careers. An amazing accomplishment of this council working again with the government to deliver that. And it's those sorts of schemes that will fundamentally make a big difference. We've done lots of work with industry as well. So even when you look to our scheme with Blackstone QTS, a huge data centre, £10 billion worth of investment coming into the county thanks to this Conservative council, working again with the Conservative government. And that provides an opportunity not just to link AI with all of those work streams that will go on in the power industry and in other industries to make sure that we can deliver on our green goals and our climate change goals, but also as an opportunity that creates an awful lot of heat. And so there's the potential to supercharge our aspirations in terms of district heating, which is a significant part of decarbonising our homes and our communities in places like Ashington, Bedlington, Blythe, and also provides us with this significant opportunity to lower bills for heating and for energy more generally. There's a big piece in here on biodiversity, and the leader mentioned the Great Northumberland Forest, a great achievement again of this council, working with our government that we have currently. And that will not only will it plant trees and help to reduce, therefore, carbon in the atmosphere, but it will enhance biodiversity across Northumberland, something which we greatly treasure as a beautiful green county. We've talked a little bit already on homes, and Councillor Renner Thompson has stressed that we have a lot of properties that are off the gas grid. And I certainly live in a property where you have that, where you have oil heating, and it's very expensive. It has been too in these times where we've got war in the Ukraine and a spike in oil prices. But these programmes offer a fantastic opportunity for residents in more rural parts of the county, perhaps in particular to decarbonise, but to do so in a way that makes a benefit for them in terms of their disposable income. And then finally, looking a bit to the future, there's all sorts of opportunities that await in addition. Things like perhaps seeing the fitting of carbon capture technology to the Linemouth power station, something that we'll be championing, both we have been championing and we will champion in the future, which may yet see Northumberland become the first carbon negative county if we manage to achieve that. And I hope that a future government, whatever nature it may be, will listen to us in supporting Linemouth Power Station in achieving that aim in the longer term. So tons and tons and tons of stuff that we could talk about, and the only thing that's reducing in terms of tons is the amount of carbon dioxide that has been emitted in Northumberland, thanks to all of our partners and ourselves. Thank you, Leader.
That was very interesting and useful. Thank you for that. Anything else from anyone else? Okay, so this is a document that's really important for us. It's one that, as an administration, we are wholly and completely committed to. I'm very grateful to all the work that's been carried out by our officers and all the intricate detail that's contained within this report, which will shape and drive how we deliver this action plan. You have the commitment of the administration to continue to have that political drive, whether it's for climate change, addressing climate change or enhancing our environment. That is something that we strongly believe in, and that is something that we will remain strongly as believers in. So we've got those recommendations which I've formally proposed and they've been seconded. If there are no more questions, are you all in favour of this? Excellent. So that's unanimous, and thank you very much indeed. So this leads us on to another extremely important report, which is around our performance report. This is the culmination of a year's delivery of our key services that are all entirely linked to our three priorities. Those three priorities being to provide value for money, to tackle inequalities, and to drive business and growth. So we need to measure how we are performing in these three key areas so that we can challenge ourselves where there is room for improvement, where we can congratulate staff and the system for delivering either at or above what we have set targets at. And those targets have got to be quite strong targets, quite difficult to achieve targets. Otherwise, monitoring performance becomes not as key as it should. So I'm very pleased with the report that we have here. It gives us a full breakdown of how we're delivering those particular key actions around the three priorities. It is a very it's a very encouraging report to see how we have overall, in an overall manner, improved on our performance as a council over the last year. And I'm very proud of that. And I think there are specific areas that we need to be really excited about. I'm going to actually just ask we talk about education for a second. Councillor Renner-Thompson, tell us a little bit about where you feel we are achieving well.
If you turn to page 228, you can see where we are achieving well, Leader, which is the number of pupils in our good or outstanding schools. In our primary schools, it's 95.6%. In our secondary schools, it's 83.6%. We're above our own target. We're above the national averages. That's down to the investment that we as the council have put in to the school improvement team here at County Hall, which works across our maintained schools and our academy schools. But we're not resting on our laurels. There's still work to do. We're being inspected by Ofsted each and every day, and we continue to work hard to bring the rest of those schools up, so we end up closer to 100% of our students in good or outstanding schools.
Am I right in thinking that actually our schools were below the national average in the lower quartile in 2017, but actually we're in the upper quartile now and achieving very highly?
Very much so. I mean, we were below 75% good or outstanding, and we're now the highest performing county in the region. And that is due to the decisions made here at County Hall. Many decisions within education are now with County Hall, with our schools or academies now. They're not part of the council, but that doesn't mean that we don't feel that we're not responsible for every single child in Northumberland, and we work very closely with our academy schools and our partners to achieve the results that we get.
Yeah, and it's something that we should feel very proud of. I certainly am very proud of the work that our advisors have done from County Hall. I'm very proud of the work that you have done as a cabinet member over the last 3 years. And I'm really grateful to all our staff and the teachers and the schools, and above all the students who have made this gargantuan leap from being in the bottom part of the system to actually leading in the North East. And I'm so proud of that. It's just sensational. So that's education. Yes, Councillor Watson.
I'd just like to say that I represent the Amble ward, and we're very excited there to see the new Send School, which was due to open with 50 pupils in September this year. It just shows how we are continuing to do it. And then also the new senior school as well, which will hopefully come out with us next year. It just, I think, endorses what Councillor Renner-Thompson said, that we are really totally committed to our children of all sorts, and it's really gratifying to see how much we think about them and how much money we're prepared to put behind looking after them. Thank you, Leader.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Yes, Councillor Jones.
Yes, staying on page 228, I'd just like to make a comment on the items 2 and 3, which is the money given to vulnerable households. So this is government money, but almost 4.8 million was given in the last financial year to vulnerable households. And I'd just like to thank the work of Communities Together, who actually work to identify those households and make sure that they got what they were entitled to. And also the work with the work they've done with the voluntary and community organisations through the community hubs in helping to continue with our plan to build community resilience. We did support the voluntary organisations to the tune of £1 million in the last financial year, and we're able to do that through grant funding.
Excellent. Couldn't agree more. Very wise words. I'm so sorry. Sorry?
I think we can carry on.
I'm carrying on, I'm carrying on, of course I'm carrying on. Yes, completely carrying on as normal. Gordon Stewart.
Yes, thank you. Just remark about the service we are providing our communities with and visitors, the Northumberland Fire and Rescue Service, which is part of the County Council. I'm very proud to be part of the County Council. One delight with this county is the wide geographical area, the history, but the modern industries as well. So we know that recently we've been inspected, and a fantastic report. But I'll just flag up one issue here, which is where it all starts from when the calls come into the Fire and Rescue Service. Now we've got a figure of 98.2% are answered on time, and it's going up yet again. So congratulations to the Northumberland Fire and Rescue Service and all the services they provide, being preventative or responding to incidents.
Sorry, very proud of our Fire and Rescue Service, which is, of course, an integral partner within the team at County Hall. So well done to them, and absolutely right. Yes, Councillor Horncastle.
Thank you, Leader. I'd like to highlight a few things that I think we should be really proud of as an authority here. And it goes back to what you were talking about before with the environment and climate change. If you have a look at things that we are doing well and we should be really proud of, things like street cleanliness, dog fouling and litter, and fly tips removed. And, I mean, don't forget, this is a massive geographical county, and if you look at fly tips removed, 98.4% removed in 3 days. I mean, that actually takes some doing. And like Councillor Stewart mentioned earlier, we visited Ashington yesterday. We have got some fly tipping hotspots in the county, so small areas in Ashington and Blythe, unfortunately. And when we visited there yesterday, it was the enthusiasm of the staff there that were doing the job was something to be really proud of. There was a lot of fly tipping in the 4 streets we visited, but in next to no time it was all tidied up. And it's all about making Northumberland a nice place to live and visit. So these targets, you mentioned these are hard targets. These are stretch targets, usually far higher than the national averages. So when you see what we're actually achieving, I would just like to say thank you to everybody. That's just, from the chief executive directors and right down to the staff on the ground that are doing it. It should be a big thank you to them, and you should be really proud of what they're actually doing.
Excellent. That's quite true. And it is. People often say that when they come to visit Northumberland, it is a lovely county, beautifully kept and looking proud. And so that's marvellous. All right. Anything else from anyone else? So there we are. Richard, sorry, did you want to come in?
Yes, Leader, I will just briefly to say my usual thank you to the call centre teams for speeding up their response times compared to previous points yet again. Excellent work from them, and long may that progress continue. 2 other bits as well, just in terms of superfast broadband. Another huge effort that we've put in to make sure that we drive forward superfast broadband. It's not easy in a county with the geography like ours, but we are making great progress, and I thank all of the officer team that have been pushing that throughout the last year, and a thank you to the government as well for the way that they've been working with us in that regard, and good progress on the economic numbers in there as well that I'm sure that we'll touch on another time, but all good progress. Thank you.
That's absolutely great. Thank you. So I must just mention our call centre and the way we interact with our residents. Having tried to get hold of a public body recently and having to wait on hold for 42 minutes, I think our figures are really sensational. And so thank you very much to everyone involved in the call centres, and all the frontline work that we do talking to people is so good and so much appreciated. So there we are. Thank you very much, all of you, for the questions. I'm going to formally propose the recommendations, seconded by Councillor Wearmouth. Are you all in favour? Yes, you are. Excellent. Thank you very much. So that moves us now on to our county partnership update. This is a brief paper that outlines the organisations with whom our chief executive and senior staff have been having a dialogue. The work that can be done through strong partnership working across all the services and all of those bits of life that people have to become involved with in everyday life is so important to helping us tackle our inequalities, to help us deliver our key priorities. So I want to say thank you to the Chief Executive who came in and said this is the way I'd like to go, and I think it's absolutely right, and I fully support the encouragement. And actually, they haven't needed to be dragged. You've done it in a wonderfully consensual way that people have wanted to come and talk and to deliver their views and their input into making this county even better. So that's really marvellous. So thank you for doing that. I think the next stage is going to be to pass it over to the partnership bodies, for them to move things forward, potentially to add organisations as they feel appropriate. And I'm sure that this will go from strength to strength. And it's in stark contrast to the old-fashioned way of in local government of having to try and force people to join partnerships and then finding that they were stale or infertile. This is a way to make sure that everyone's voice is heard and everyone's interests are considered for the future of themselves, our visitors and our county as a whole. So I'm really pleased, very proud of the work you've done. Thank you for that. The recommendations are there, which is to endorse the establishment of the new county partnership, to note the terms of reference in the membership, and agree to receive an annual report from the Chief Executive outlining the achievements and the activities of the partnership. Those are three recommendations I really approve of, so I'm formally proposing them. Seconded by Councillor Wearmouth. Are there any questions on this, members? No? Everyone happy with this? Good. Okay. Well, in that case, can I ask you if you could formally approve? And there we are. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. So that's agreed unanimously. And thank you again to our Chief Executive. Now, a very important paper, this, the Northumberland Growth and Investment Endowment Fund. Tell us about this, how it's come about and what the plans are for it, please, Richard.
Thank you very much, Leader. So, yes, this is an incredibly important report. It's come as a result of the Blackstone deal that was done between Blackstone QTS and this council. It was a absolutely phenomenal, fantastic deal, not only because it secured up to £10 billion worth of inward investment here into southeast Northumberland at Camas, but also because we managed to ensure through our position in terms of our buyback arrangements for the former British Vault site that we secured £110 million that would be payable to this council as the project progressed. And you can see in the report, and it is at 6.2, how that money flows into the council over the course of 1 through 6 years. And that starts with a £30 million payment made next year. And what we've wanted to do as part of this is ensure that we tie it very much to our key policy, which is, in this instance, is driving growth and delivering jobs for our communities. And so you can... So this is what this money is intended for. It's entirely ring-fenced for that purpose. And you can see in the report when you go to 6.11 some of the things that we'll be focusing on. So that is land assembly, to make sure that we've got enough employment sites that are available for people who want to come here and create those jobs through and more and better jobs through investment. There are strategic programs that link with that to make sure that those jobs can be delivered. And then there is a set of work that goes on alongside that with regard to development of business cases and things like that. And so we're already seeing a number of companies who want to come and site here in Northumberland with the potential to create many hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs, and this will help us to pave the way for some of that work. Obviously, we can't say a huge amount about it now, whilst those discussions remain in a sort of more confidential basis, but nonetheless, we're making very good progress indeed, and I know, Leader, that you've sat in on a number of those and will be aware of them. There's A further opportunity, though, that we link that with some of the things that we could do in terms of our own strategic investments. So that might be, for example, extending the Northumberland line. And so I would be very much expecting that we'll see feasibility work start up in due course around perhaps, for example, extending the line into somewhere like Newbiggin and delivering additional stations along the route. But there's also be work perhaps including securing additional grid connections and things like that to make sure that we can land those opportunities. Loads of stuff in there in terms of potential, and it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for South East Northumberland, but the county more widely as well, because we will be able to use funds elsewhere.
Oh, that's really good. Thank you very much. Questions or thoughts, comments? I think it is a hugely important fund that will allow that investment to take place, that we want to see this county grow even more in terms of its phenomenal opportunities that the council and county have. So it's really important. I'm very grateful, actually, to Simon Nielsen and Sarah McMillan in particular, who spent a lot of time, along with Jan Willis in our finance department, at making sure that this is very, very, very well put together, that it is not open to misadventure, and that it is clear what the purpose of this fund is and how we wish to see it delivered. So the governance of this has been looked at very carefully, along with the financial protocols and so on. So that's the right way to deal with an unexpected capital receipt such as this, and investment for the future. And so it's really important. We will spend it very wisely. And I'm actually also very grateful to Blackstone QTS, who have proved to be excellent partners. I'm really looking forward to seeing the new work taking place there. Okay, so thank you for that. If there are no questions, are you going to propose the recommendations?
Happily.
Guy Renner-Thompson seconding. Are we all in favour? Yes, we are. That's great. Thank you. Now, always an interesting paper, the summary of new capital proposals considered for us to look at today. And the first one is, what I'll do actually, if I may, is I'll just go through each one, ask for an update from the relevant cabinet member, and we'll take them as a whole at the end, assuming we're all of the same mind that we like these. So, the first one is around Pegswood Cemetery Lodge. Guy Renner-Thompson.
Thank you, Leader. The first, if I may break with your protocol, the first two, the Pegswood Cemetery Lodge and the Children's Services Home Purchase, are one in the same. So this is about funding living accommodation for two families with disabled children. It will save the council money in the long run, although it's a rather large capital outlay at the beginning, but it is the best possible way forward for these two families, and it'll make a huge difference to their lives. But I'm not proposing to say any more than that.
Okay, that's fine. It's essentially to provide new opportunity and the best possible support for those particular people who need it here. So we'll assume that's 3-2 and 3-3 you're taking at the same time, and if that's okay, we'll move on. 2. Now, tell us about King Edward VI School in Morpeth.
So this is a very exciting project for Morpeth and the wider area that's been in train for a long time. We've had various site meetings between myself, the deputy leader, yourself, leader of the council, senior civil servants, senior members of the school and the Cheviot Learning Trust. It was called Three Rivers previously when we first started having these discussions about the new sports hall at King Edward's High School in Morpeth that we are proposing to build. We are proposing £6.48 million from our funds to build this. This is part of a 3-phase development. So the school needs more classroom space, needs more capacity. You know that we have a growing population in Morpeth. Morpeth is a very, very popular town. People are moving here, so we need more school space. We are proposing to build a brand new sports hall on the site that will not just benefit the children, it will be open to the wider community. Then the school, the Cheviot Learning Trust, are proposing to convert the existing sports hall into more classrooms and learning facilities. And then the third part of this is a brand new 3G pitch, and we're going through the motions with the Football Foundation as I speak to bring forward that 3G pitch. But our part of this is the new sports hall. It's a very exciting project for the town. It's been discussed for a long time, and it's something that I expect everyone to support.
Thank you for that. Yes, Richard.
Thank you, Leader. This is I'm so pleased to see this on the Cabinet paper, and I'm going to take, forgive me, just a little bit of time to explain why it's so important and the journey that we've been on in Morpeth to secure this. So before I came into office and before we became an administration in 2017, there was a free-for-all going on in Morpeth. The Labour Council and the previous Liberal Council, for that matter, had failed to put in place a local plan. And the upshot of that was that there are 3,000 or so houses with permission, planning permission, in Morpeth. Not where we wanted them in terms of the Morpeth neighbourhood plan, which was at the St George's site. It was a brownfield site. It was prime for development. But instead, in other parts of Morpeth where the infrastructure wasn't suited to it, but nonetheless, developers had that free rein. And we, lest we forget, as a council, we ended that march of developers, put a proper local plan in place with proper housing targets, and now things are back under control. Unfortunately, we were left with the mess that was created back in 2017, and one of those problems was undoubtedly the crisis, the chaos that was left in terms of school places in this town. And there was no planning, no forethought that went into it. It was all just left to go to hell in a handcart, quite frankly. And so we could not get kids into Morpeth schools, and that was causing no end of problems. There has been investment since we came into office in the middle school to add additional forms and additional classroom space there. And now that cohort is ready to move on to King Edward's, and that is where this investment will make a difference again, providing the spaces that were needed but were never planned for until we came along and put it right. And this, therefore, is, it will make such a difference. And in addition, the last school, the only school, high school in the whole of the county that does not have a sports hall, finally King Edward's will get the sports hall and the facilities that it needs in order to thrive. A very, very good school, now equipped for the future if you agree this funding. And it just shows as well, when you look at where some of this funding's coming from, I'll emphasise again, not only was there no plan in terms of where those houses went, but there was never any challenge to say that we needed 106 funding. So there was tons of those applications that went through that developers never contributed to the mess that was going to be created. And we, on coming into office again, we emphasised that. We got those 106 payments, so it's not solely the taxpayer and the basic needs grant that's covering this. We've got money out of developers to pay for some of this, and that's how it should be. So thank you. Sorry to get on my high horse, but it's one that's really important to me. It's something that we've battled away at for years, and this is in many ways the final piece of the jigsaw in putting Morpeth school systems right.
Yes, thank you. So just a shred of passion there, but I think we picked up your message. I agree, actually, that Morpeth was built upon without the longer strategic thought being given to where children and where education would be provided. And this is putting the situation right. It would have been nice to have not had to do it now. It would have been better being done some years ago, but the fact is, this is what we're doing, and it's not just super schools that we're building in Seaton Valley and in Amble and Berwick. It's actually investing in this excellent school here, which have so much to be proud about because the exam results, the way that school is run is so good. So any thoughts or comments from anyone else on this? I think we're all very pleased with this one, so we'll move on then to the Childcare Expansion Capital Grant. Tell us about this one, Gary Allen Thompson.
Yes, thank you, Leader. This is just over £500,000 from capital funding from the government. A bit of background: in the spring budget in 2023, the government announced plans to transform childcare, bringing in 30 free hours for families at a cost of around £289 million. This is going to be phased in two parts. So starting in April 2024, working parents of 2-year-olds will get 15 hours free per week, and starting in September 24, working parents of children from 9 months to 3 years old will get 15 hours per week, and from September 2025, working parents of children from 9 months to 3 years old will get the full 30 free hours per week. Now, this will be a game changer for many, many families who won't have to shell out on expensive childcare. Not only will they be able to save money, they'll be able to actually go out and potentially spend that money in the local economy as well, that they're not having to spend on free childcare. So it's great for individual parents, and it's a great boost for our economy in the area as well. Now, this £500,000 we've got is to fund the capital proposals to extend nursery provision across the county, but primarily in the southeast of Northumberland, where the population is. We have a list here of the facilities that are getting grant money. We've got My Little Kingdom in Ashington, Mowbray Primary School in Shoppington, Tams's Little Acorns in Newbiggin, What a Hoot in Blythe, Horton Grange Primary School, Send to Learn, which is a special provider in Blythe, Necker Grace Darling in Ashington, Little Angels in Bedlington, What a Hoot in Bedlington, and First Steps in Blythe. So this will allow those nursery places to expand and keep everyone going. There was a lot of criticism with this when this came out, that we wouldn't be able to deliver it, but as this paper makes clear, we are delivering it, and Northumberland will be ready when these changes come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Really important funding. And I think in the list there you gave 2 nurseries in Bedlington. And so that list, it doesn't just happen. That list provides extra support in those areas where we feel that extra support is needed to allow parents and to children to get the best start and the best help that they can. And I think they'll be really popular. And I'm very grateful to the government's initiative here, and long may it continue. So thank you for that. That moves us on to 3.6, Tyne Mills Depot. This is in Hexham, where our area office for our highways and neighbourhood services and so on are delivered from where they're delivered. And it's very important that everyone should have a roof over their heads. And clearly, some parts of this building do not have a roof over their heads. And we know that some parts of the building are not fit for purpose, well, not ideal for purpose. And that's why we want to invest this amount of money there to make sure that this particular depot is of the best standard. So that's £154,000 being spent at this depot. So there, I think that's the right thing to do. Everyone happy with that? Yeah, so then we move on, 2 more to go, the St George's Extra Care Scheme. So I'm going to ask Councillor Patterson to talk to us about that.
Thank you, Leader. Extra care and supported housing enables self-care and independent living for our residents. Extra care schemes throughout the county are in high demand, and no more so than in Morpeth. So I'm delighted to announce plans for 84 apartments at St George's in Morpeth, and working together with a housing provider and also adult social care. This all comes at a cost of 1.5 million capital spend, 1.061 million from Section 106 monies, and 0.439 million from the Disabled Facilities Grant. So the plans for the apartments are 39 one-bedroom, 27 two-bedroom, 2 bariatric apartments, and something close to my heart, 10 one-bedroom apartments and 5 two-bedroom apartments to support people with dementia, and also 1 visitor suite. So absolutely delighted with this.
Good, thank you very much for that. So this is something that's come out of our policy statement that says we want to provide extra housing in specialist areas, and we are therefore using Section 106 money from planning applications, as well as grant from the government, to allow us to move a little bit farther down that road to look at real schemes. And this is going to be, as you say, and I know dementia is something that's very close to your heart, and ensuring we do what we can to help those people that suffer from dementia in terms of where they live. So it's something that is very close to your heart. So I'm very pleased that this is a good first step in what will be a really successful development. Yes, please, Colin.
Thank you, Leader. I think there's something in this report that really needs highlighting, and that's the affordable housing element in this. Morpeth is a wonderful town. It's got a lot going for it. It's got a nice shopping experience, nice new housing, as we've heard earlier. But when you get a successful town, that sometimes brings problems, and that problems is it's quite expensive to actually acquire a property here, whether that's to buy or rent. So on this scheme here, we've got nearly half of these dwellings are going to be affordable, which is way above the required amount by our policies. So it's really just shown commitment by ourselves and our partners to affordable housing, and all these affordable homes will add to our targets, our affordable housing targets.
That's absolutely right. So it is going to be a significant initiative, and I'm very grateful to our staff and to you, Wendy, that have played this role in saying this is what we need to do. Let's get some money together and let's get on and deliver it. So it's really exciting. Yes, Richard Wearmouth.
Thank you. A bit of a theme here, because looking back again to 2017, colleagues, you may not know, because it was a bit more of a Morpeth problem, but what was happening on a lot of the new estates that were coming in was that developers were simply buying their way out of commitments in terms of affordable homes and in terms of other projects that delivered some form of additional social value. And that's because, as Councillor Horncastle says, Morpeth is a place where you can get a premium value for a house. And that was not serving our town at all well. And this was something, again, that we campaigned locally here in Morpeth to make sure that we got the houses that we needed. And when I'm not knocking on doors at the moment, I'm going around Lancaster Park, an estate that's been there for a very long time now. But some of the residents who moved in 40, 50 years ago are telling me this is the sort of thing that they need in terms of better housing, that they can downscale into where they have some challenges around their health, and in particular around things like dementia. So thank you, Councillor Patterson. And I personally have had family who have lived in the unit up at St George's at one stage or another with dementia. It is the most horrible thing to watch someone with dementia. There's nothing perhaps more disturbing than watching as someone loses their memory of you. And you see it every now and again. You see something in their eyes where they recognise you for a second and then it's gone. But anything that makes the autumn years of your life better with that condition is a fantastic thing, and you've championed it for a very long time. Thank you very much to yourself and Neil for this piece of work. It's incredibly valued by residents here, and I'm sure across the county.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
Councillor
good.
Wearmouth.
Excellent. Okay, so our final one is is around 3.8, which I think we have dealt with before. Richard Wearmouth?
Yes, and so you've all seen the report on this. There is a confidential annex. Rather than move into closed session, I'm happy to move the recommendations as are, and unless anyone has any questions, in which case we can move into closed session. But I don't think that that's necessary on this occasion, Leader.
No, I think that's fine. Don't think there are any questions, so that's fine. So that takes us to the end, all of which I would like us to agree. I need a proposer, and that's Councillor Watson, I think, seconded by Councillor Jones. Are you all in favour of all of these recommendations? That's great. And what a wonderful set of the spending we're looking at here that will bring benefit to many. That takes us to the